Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back here to today's edition of Advanced Bass Fishing, and really appreciate you guys swinging by the channel to check today's video out and spend some time with me. Guys, we're going to be talking about how electronics will spook fish today and what you can do about it. Not as simple as what it sounds. There's a lot of variables around it, and there's a lot of situations that they are impacted more than others. So we're going to have a good conversation about like this and help you guys get an understanding about that a little bit more in today's episode. Also, guys, before we get started, just a quick invitation. I'd like to invite everybody to please consider hitting that subscribe button here to Advanced Bass Fishing. Really appreciate that. You can also check out our memberships by going and hitting the join button on the homepage. And thank you very much out there for everybody that's been supporting Advanced Bass Fishing by using all the links I put in the description. So you guys really helping the channel stay on by doing that. Really appreciate that. Okay, electronics on a bass boat and what they do to fish. I can tell you right now, guys, electronics will spook fish. They make fish more wary. They make them harder to catch. There's a lot of different things surrounding that we're going to talk about in today's video. Now, one of the things about that, I don't know if you guys have ever heard it. A lot of people probably haven't done that. But the next time you're out swimming or something in the summertime, turn your electronics on in your boat, put your trolling motor in the water, turn your electronics on, go underneath the water and listen to how loud those electronic pings are coming off that transducer. It will freak you out how loud. It's like tick, 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 little clicking sounds like that. It is extremely audible. Now, if you got to realize a bass's sense of sound is a lot more acute than ours in the water. So you can imagine how it sounds to a bass, if it sounds to us, if we can hear it. Because a bass can they can hear a crawdad moving in 40 foot of water, just moving around on the bottom. They can sure the heck hear something as audible as these loud electronic pings on there. Now, one of the things that you have to do on this is, the first thing is you have to realize that these electronic pings are part of a bass's environment. It's like, ever since a bass was born, they don't know anything else that's just part of their world. It's like they hear outboard motor noises, they hear trolling motor noises, they hear electronic ping noises, and that becomes a part of their world. So they get conditioned and they learn to, when the noise decibel levels are higher on a body of water, there's an evolutionary process that has went on with the fish, and they get less aggressive. That's why bass fishing is always better during the week than it is on the weekend, because you don't have as much noise decibel levels. I think that bass react to noise decibel levels like from electronic pings or trolling motors or whatever, the same way as like if a bad front comes through. They just get inactive and shut down. Now, there's a couple different situations where this is going to play an impact. Now, a lot of people think that the shallow water, fishing where you're in real shallow water, you should turn your electronics off, and not so much out in deep water. But guys, it's the same. It's like, one of the things that I will say, and the piece of advice I'll give you, is that whenever you can do it, whenever you can get by with it, unless you absolutely need it, turn your electronics off. Especially, like I said, if you're flipping and pitching around shallow water, or you're moving through shallow water and you're fishing targets, you don't really need to see a depth finder. I mean, a lot of people it's almost like they're addicted to it. They have to look at that screen just to check the depth, but you really don't need to, because the benefit that you would get from seeing if the water's 4 feet deep versus 6 feet deep is offset by the amount of noise you're putting in the water that's going to distract those fish and turn them off by having an electronics unit on. And the same as if you're fishing deeper water. It's like if you pull up on a point to fish, and say you've got a brush pile in 20 foot of water, and you pull up, 100 foot away from that brush pile or something, thinking that the water's deeper, I'm a long way from this brush pile, so it's not going to hurt if I have my electronics unit on. You're wrong too, because they can hear that big time. It's like I can promise you that a bass 100 foot away from you, it can hear that electronic ping coming through the water like a freaking drum or something. You're not hiding, or you're not sneaking up on them. So the point is try to at all costs, unless you just absolutely have to have that electronic unit on to just pinpoint whatever, turn that thing off and get comfortable with it. Now, I think a reason a lot of people don't do it is, number one, it takes a little bit of effort to reach down and either, freeze your screen or turn your unit off. That's number one. And number two, they just don't think it's worth it. It's not that big of a deal. Stealth is extremely important in fishing. It's like that's sort of an art form in bass fishing that people have lost, is that ability to sneak up on the fish and stay a long way away from them. So just it's an obvious tip, guys, is, in today's video, it's like whenever you can do it, just get used to not fishing with your electronics on. It's a little awkward at first because it is even for me. If if I'm fishing down a row of boat docks and I'm flipping dock pilings, I like to see how deep it is, but I don't have to see how deep it is. So I've sort of conditioned myself over the years to turn that electronic unit off. And if I don't know, say for example, if I pitch up next to a boat dock pier and I don't know if it's 3 or 5 foot deep on that pier, I can pretty much tell by watching my lure fall in the water. It's like I can count down how long it takes my jig to get to the bottom, and I can get a pretty accurate assessment on how deep it is, and I don't have my electronics unit on. So think about this for a second. Say you're one of those anglers out there that are working down this stretch of shoreline, or you're fishing the grass bed or whatever, and you got all your electronics on. You got your freaking 5 or 6 electronics, and you got all the pinging going on. And then the next person comes down through there and they don't have any electronics on. Now, if you're a bass in the water and you know that boat is there, they're aware that your boat is there long before you think they are. But in terms of the mood and the personality and that the chances of that bass actually biting your lure or not biting the lure, who's going to stand the better chance? That boat that comes through there where they can't hear any electronic pings, or the boat that comes through there where it's just pinging right and left? So it's pretty obvious. It's pretty simple and logical, reality behind this. Get comfortable turning your electronic units off, guys. You're going to catch a lot more fish with it. So hope it helps out. We'll talk later.